how do we create these parallel lines with concentric curves? There's a couple ways to do it. The hard way is manually, just creating the lines and creating the curves. I've got a grid on here, and I've got, let's see, I've got my smart guides, and I've got snap to grid. All right, so let's just draw a line right here, and let's draw this. All right, let's give that some thickness, and that's good. And so you could duplicate this and then duplicate the curve. So let's duplicate that, move it over a little bit. All right, let's change the color. And then you could go in, and if we selected both of those, you can see that the curves are not concentric. So you could cheat this one. Let's find this curve here. You could cheat this one and try to do like that, but it's not perfect. It's good. It might help in a pinch, but as you can see, the lines aren't even perfectly aligned. And those are some of the difficulties that you would have with doing it manually. And you'd have to do each one, of course, and then try and get them all perfect. You can dial some of the numbers in, but again, it's going to be very difficult to get this perfect. And is it there? Is it there? Where is it exactly? It's hard to tell. So that's one way you could do it. I wouldn't suggest going that route. All right, let's delete that. And so another way is you could use the path offset. And it's a little clunky, and I wouldn't go that route as well, but let's just see what that looks like. So if I've got this, and I go path offset, let's go object, path, and then offset path. And you'll see that it creates these two lines, and you can adjust this, so right, I can get rid of that gap in there. And so let's just take this back to 125. So I can get rid of that gap, but it's actually created, let's change this, is two lines. So you could separate those and then use them. So let's go back and let's give this a curve, because that's what we really wanted. So we want a curve here, and let's go with a curve down here, and then offset path. Where are we? Right there. All right, and so let's leave it that, and then change that color. All right, so we've got a similar thing there with the offset. We've got the concentric curves, which is good. But if I want to make a change, well, now I've got another problem. I've got to come back in, and I'm basically doing it all manually, and it's a pain. So probably wouldn't go that route for that, because it'll take a little bit of time. And again, if you want to begin to really move stuff around, you're not going to be able to keep those curves and stuff the way you might want it. So how would I go about doing that, as I have pictured down here? So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And so let's draw a new line here. Actually, to start, we want to set up a brush, which is like what we have over here. But we're going to delete this one so we can just create a new one. You want to create a brush. And so you can do this with lines, or you can do it with rectangles. You can do it with really anything. For our purposes, we're going to just draw a rectangle like that. And I just want the color, the fill. All right, so we got the fill, and it's there so that we can see it. Now what we want to do is create, if we're going to have 3 lines or 4 lines, you want to create that many lines. And so I'm just going to drag this, Command D, that's 4. I only want 3 for this. And so let's go with the red. Oops, we want to have the fill. And let's see, we'll bring this down a little bit, make this a little bigger. There we go. So let's make this, that color's fine, and then let's go with a something like that. It's good, and then maybe that. Good. All right, so we have these 3 colors, And all we do is we take these, we drag them and drop them into our brushes. And of course, if your brushes isn't open, you go up to Window, Brushes, and open that up. And so you want to select Art Brush. And so you can select stretch to fit stroke length. And I'll come back. I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to show you the stretch between guides. But for this one, this is just fine. So you don't need to change any of this stuff over here. And you want to make sure that the overlap is on this one, which is adjust corners and folds to prevent overlaps. You don't want that one. You want that one. Okay. All right. So I've got that. Now I actually don't need this. I can delete this. I'm just going to delete it. We don't need that now because we have it over here. Let's bring this down a little bit. So this is our brush over here. So let's draw our lines. Draw any lines that you want. Okay, that's good. And of course we want that to be on the stroke, and then we can select that. And it gives us our parallel lines. And so now we can, because this is a brush. So if I hit Command Y, you can see that it's just one line there. And so I can select that direct select tool, and I can put a curve on it. Now I've got all of them selected. I just wanted the one there. So I can select the one. I can select multiple. I can actually select them all and go up to my corners and change that to maybe 0.125. There we go. And notice that it seems like, oh, it's not working in here. Well, it is working. It's just that the radius would be so small, you wouldn't really have a radius there. So let's look at that other thing that I was talking about, because this is really it. And of course, you can move this guy around to do what you want with it. You can add to it, of course, because it's just a line. And I can come back and I can adjust that if I want. One thing to note, if you close this up as a shape, if you close it on the corner, you're going to get a funky end. So let's go back, and I want to close it on the corner just to show you what will happen there. So that happens there if you close it in the corner. But as you saw, you can just cheat it, come around, bring that over there, and we can still go back and do that like so. For that other art brush, we're going to use something like this to illustrate how that works. And so you can just, if you want to or needed to curve this up where the hands are still down here but the bat's up here, that would be very difficult to do. If you select like this part and you bring it over, you can see already what's going on, and you rotate that around, then that's a huge problem, and it looks pretty bad. So undo that. We just take our full image. As you can see, those are pieces. Take the full image, drag it over into the brushes panel, art brush as before. We're going to do stretch between guides, and these dashed lines are guides, and you can drag those anywhere. I'm going to drag this one here because what I want is the bat or the hands not to be distorted and the red not to be distorted. Distorted a lot. It'll be changed maybe a little bit, but it won't be terrible as what we had before. So this is the original, and we're going to just draw a line. And for this, I'm going to draw a curve, something like this. And we'll do it like that. And we will select our bat. And there you go. So now I've got this on this curve, and I can manipulate it. And so I can get that. And so you can see it gets a little distorted in there. But if I do something like that, I can have a nice sort of flexible bat, and the hands are not all distorted, and even the red part works pretty well. It's probably about what you would want. So that is how you work with that brush.